You know, the further we get into this season, the more and more each episode just feels jam-packed with stuff to talk about, so I might ramble a bit, but with that said, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another one of our weekly ReZero Season 2 discussion videos. Today we're here to talk all about episode 22, Happiness Reflected on the Water's Surface. But before we get into the video proper, quick reminder if you haven't done so yet, to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, set notifications to all, let all of AniTube know that you're here, and without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and jump into this thing. Oh man. Okay, so this episode is split in twain. They cut it in twain, and it's basically split in with Subaru and the mansion stuff happening in the first half, and then Emilia and the trial stuff happening in the second half. And I will say that the first half, they definitely had me in the first half, you know. And then the second half is just where they took my heart and they're like, hey, we're gonna keep this, right? And then we're gonna shatter it. And then we're going to fix it for you and just hand it back. That's basically the second half of the episode. Whereas the first half of the episode is just like, hey, you want to watch some cool stuff happen? Right? So it's like, hell yeah, I do. So the first half opens with Garf versus Elsa. And it doesn't go on as long as I would have liked. I would totally watch like a full-ass just Sakuga Fest episode of Garf versus Elsa. I would love that. Alas, we don't get a whole ton of time to spend with Garf and Elsa. It's still a cool fight. Like Garfiel, our boy Garfiel, going toe-to-toe with Elsa, the Bowel Hunter. And it's about as cool as you'd imagine, right? It's like, it's pretty dope. Like, Garf just does the whole like, hey boss, you watching? Right? Like just like slams the two gauntlets together. He's like, this is my first battle, and I'm having a blast, so you better be doing your job too. And they're just swapping hands, just slapping hands, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely fantastic. And it's funny too because Elsa actually seems to be quite enjoying herself, which is not something I think I see a lot from the character. Usually with Elsa, there's this sort of like, this, should I say like, indifference to a lot of what she's doing. Like she has fun, but it's rare that she actually gets to like cut loose, pun intended, and really like have fun fighting, right? But Garfiel is just that much of a boss. Like he's like actually got Elsa, not so much on the ropes, but he's like toe to toe with her. And even he said like, I can take her, but it's gonna be close, right? Like he's confident. He's like, okay, I can beat her, but it's gonna be kind of scary, so I don't need Frederica like in the way, right? And poor Freddy's just like, it'd be easier if we took her down together, but he's like, no. You haven't seen me fight in a while. It's easier if I fight by myself. So it's like, all right, I guess that's fair. Like when you think about it, it does make sense. It is fair, you know. But it's interesting just to have Elsa like kind of glare at Garf and actually have fun fighting him. And there's this awesome friggin' moment where she swings at him and I'm like, oh, he's screwed, because she cuts his ear, and she goes in and I'm like, they're not gonna kill Garf, right? And then he just chomps down on the dagger and she's like, really? Right? Like, and he's like, yeah, that's right, I told you, stop playing around. And then they keep swapping it. It's great. The whole fight is like legitimately super dope. However, another big moment is with Frederica and Petra. And this moment kind of caught me off guard, and maybe I'm misremembering something, but Petra said like, I just found you again, right? Like I have you again, and I don't want anything to happen. And Freddy's like, oh no, don't worry, that time I was like, I was prepared to die, and I was okay with it, but this time I'm not planning on dying. I saw my brother for the first time in years. I have an adorable Kohai who's relying on me. I couldn't be happier, so I'm not dying. I'm just gonna hold off melee here, and then I'll be back, right? So it's like, okay. Now, that is probably in reference to when she was gonna try to hold off Elsa, right? But for a second, when I saw that, I'm like, do they know? Right? Because like, it was just the way that they were speaking that I was like, does Petra and Freddy know the fact that they died last time? I don't think they do. But like, it was just worth bringing up. I was like, are they talking about when they died, or are they talking about when Freddy told Petra to run when they found Elsa? I don't know. But either way, I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting that happened at all. But Freddy, like, Frederica is she's just the best, right? It's funny because there has been on the channel 2 characters that have given the nickname Freddy to. There was Frederica, obviously, in ReZero. And then there was, there was Freddy and Ferdinand, that's what it was. Freddy and Ferdy was from Bookworm. And my God, Frederica blows Freddy right out of the water. Just if we're talking about Freddy and Ferdy, just Freddy blows Ferdy right out of the water, just in terms of being the best of the fur characters. The fur characters? I guess that makes sense. She does have fur. Can you tell that we're still in the Injured Boy arc? Because I left all of that in. But yeah, Frederica being a badass and like willing to sort of hold Meili back is super dope. I love when Meili's just like, it's me, right? And Subaru's like, yeah, can we hurry this along? And she's like, oh, I thought you'd be more surprised. And it's like, normally, that was a surprise when it happened the first time, but they don't remember that shit. But I do, anytime that kind of thing happens where Subaru's like, yeah, I've seen this before, and the other character's like, oh, I thought you'd be more surprised than that. Oh, well. Right? It's like, oh, no, he was. I promise he was. But yeah, Freddy holding their own in the same way Garf does is just dope to see. Everything so far has been, like, really, really dope, right? Between the Tinsel siblings. It's been cool to see them holding their own. I would like to see the fight between Meili and Freddy. I don't know if we're gonna see it. I feel like we're just gonna have like Freddy show up and save the group from the guilty Lao later. Because I have a feeling we're not gonna see that fight, which is a bit disappointing. I could be wrong. I would love to be wrong, because any fight scene in ReZero is usually top tier. With ReZero, there's the big thing that you come to ReZero for isn't really the fights, it's the dialogue between characters, because it's just so well written. But you guys know me, I like my action, so anytime there is a fight in ReZero, I get kind of hyped, because ReZero actually does have some pretty dope fights. That said, there is a conversation that happens in the first half that I also don't want to forget. Subaru talking with Beatrice. Now, this whole thing definitely starts off on the right foot, right? Like, because he does the whole, like, I'm coming to save you, and we're gonna get out of here, and we're gonna play in the mud till your dress is black, right? We're just gonna play in the mud. It's gonna be a good time, right? Like, we're just gonna go have some fun. We're gonna get out of here, and you're gonna be happy. Damn it, right? You're gonna enjoy it. Damn it, Biko, right? But Beatrice is, of course, like, are you dense? Like, what are you talking about? Like, no, I'm not going anywhere. Like, and she rightfully calls out that it was Roseball, right? Because Subaru says some stuff that she's like, and how do you know that? Right? Like, how do you know that Elsa knows how to get in here? Like, how do you know that? Subaru's like, I can't tell you that. But of course, she calls out that it's Roseball, and that moment kills me, breaks my heart, because Beatrice thinks that, like the dialogue sort of implies that Beatrice thinks that Echidna has not only forgotten her, but is okay with Roseball cutting her loose because it's written in the book, right? And that breaks my heart, because Roseball is very much just like Team Echidna, right? I know some of you in the comments are also Team Echidna, and I don't blame you. However, I do think that it's sad, because you get characters like Biko who feel left out. And that scene of her crying, saying, like, why weren't you here? Like, Ryuzu, like everybody leaves me. It's first it was Echidna, then it was her mother, then it was Roseball, then Ryuzu. You all leave, right? And I'm like, Biko, like, to me, this scene hurts, because it's like, Beatrice, being human in general, like being alive and making friends, right? You have to understand that everybody goes away, right? Like, it doesn't make it any less meaningful. you know? Certainly doesn't make it hurt less, knowing that, like, yeah, everything has its time and everything ends. But that's what makes it beautiful. The fact that it ends, you know? Like, and I think Subaru was trying to impart that a little bit. But he does have this moment where he's just like, you spent 400 years sitting here waiting because of a promise, a verbal promise you made 400 years ago. Beatrice, it's okay to have a rebellious phase once in 400 years. You can leave. What do you want to do, right? And Beatrice is like, well, maybe if you were that person, can you be that person for me? And Subaru's like, what the hell are you talking about? Of course not. And he gets launched out the freaking door. And I was like, Barusu, Barusu, my boy, why do you do these dumb things? I like, every time Subaru says something great, I'm like, he's gonna put his foot in his mouth at some point. I'm just waiting for it. I love Subaru so much, but like, this man just occasionally still just says some dumb shit. Doesn't mean to, but he does. And of course, you know, the squad ends by bumping into the Guilty Low. Or Guilty Lao. I don't know how you say it. That thing's creepy looking, though. But yeah, I don't know how they get out of that. I have a feeling Beatrice is gonna come save them, if I'm super honest. And I would like that, because like in my head I'm like, it's either gonna be Freddy or Beatrice, and I have a feeling it's gonna be B, but I could be wrong. Moving on though, we gotta talk about the whole Emilia thing. We see Emilia go in for the second of the trials, and this is the unthinkable present. When I tell you that I cried, I've brought up Avengers movies a lot. I think I brought up the MCU, I think in the last like 4 videos now. I guess I just have these on the brain. But there's a scene in Endgame where old Steve says, I went out and got some of that life that Tony was talking about, right? And then you have the like, and how was it? It was beautiful, right? Like that's all I thought of was just Steve saying, it was beautiful. Like watching the unthinkable present. Because I was like, this is what it should have been. This is what could have been. And Tape Sensei just has to break my heart. Because that's just what he does. Because it's like, this is beautiful. This is what it should have been, right? Her calling Archie, like, Oni-chan. I was like, oh, my heart. I don't need these emotions right now, Tape. Tape says, say why. But, like, her calling Archie Oni-san. Or Oni-san. Or Oni-chan, sorry. And seeing Fortuna looking fine. And Betelgeuse Romaniconte des looking as suave as ever, and everyone in their village saying that like they look like a nice family, all this stuff. Seeing the people from the village at all, you know, not as ice statues. It's just, and like everybody going on this nice little like picnic. It's sad, right? Because again, like it's obviously similar to what Subaru wanted, his unthinkable present, where he's home with his family, right? And that's what Emilia wanted too. She just wanted to be with her family, but both of them can't be with their parents right now. The fact that when she says mother and Goose, father, I was like, oh, my heart. Oh no. Oh no. So sad. It was rough. But I love that she says like, I want to be like Fortuna, I want to be like Goose, I want to be like Archie, I want to be like all these people, right? Like she goes down the list like Puck, I want to be like Otto, I want to be like Ram, and I want to be like Subaru. I want to be strong, right? Like I want to be someone people can rely on. And it's like, Emilia, my girl's grown so much. She's Emilia, best girl. She's grown so much. And that final conversation with Archie is just so great. Her like seeing her reflection and then diving into the water to get a closer look, right? And she goes, I guess I didn't look as much like Mother Fortuna as I thought. And I was like, I don't know how to feel about that line. Like, I do think it hits, right? It definitely hits, but I was like, Emilia, you are your own person. and that's not a bad thing. You know, you have your mother's spirit with you, and Goose's and Archie's and everybody's, but you're Emilia, and that's what people are relying on. You know what I mean? Like that moment is the whole unthinkable present is just beautiful, simply beautiful, and that paired with everybody, both from Erlom and the Sanctuary, just still being there when she gets out, and she's like surprised to see them, and they just tell her like, hey, you did it, awesome, hooray, by the way, we're not going anywhere. And Emilia's like, huh? They're like, yep, we're gonna stay right here, and we are gonna be here when you get out, because because we believe in you, you know, and we're not gonna go anywhere. We're gonna be right here for you when you get out, and we will be leaving Sanctuary together. Dang it, right? And even the people of Sanctuary, right? Even they're like, we don't really know what we want just yet, but we think we can start to rely on you, right? And I was like, do you see? Right? Like, because again, I said this last week, but I'm like, I never really saw Emilia as a proper candidate, right, to lead the kingdom, right? But now I'm like, do you see? Right? I see a queen in there, you know? Before, it was just my girl Krush. That was the only one I saw as queen, right? But now I see the queen within. I see the queen within Emilia, and it's beautiful. Or should I say beautiful? It's absolutely beautiful. We do get to very quickly see a bit of Ram and Puck versus Rosewall. Very briefly. It is like hella brief, right? But it's a cool shot. It's super cool looking, but it's very brief because that's not what we're focusing on this week. It's mostly just the stuff happening at the mansion, Emilia's unthinkable present, right? Like that's for the most part what we're focused on. And I do like that everybody is there for her when she leaves. And I love that scene because again, it's just nice to have that reminder that these people have come to rely on Emilia, that Emilia is actually becoming what she wants to be, and that's someone to be relied on. And what is somebody to be relied on if not a queen, right? Or a king, whatever, doesn't matter, a ruler of any kind. And it's nice. It's been a good, solid progression for the character, and it's just so dope to see. And we end this week by seeing Emilia walk into her third and final trial, face the disaster that is yet to come. That has me nervous. I don't know what that means. I also don't know what's up with Echidna. Echidna crying and saying, like, I just hate you so much. And I'm like, right? Like, okay. Like, all right. Odd. Like, that paired with, like, face the disaster that is yet to come has me like, I am concerned. Right? Like, I am very concerned. But Emilia's got this. Emilia absolutely stomped through these first two trials. I do feel like the third one's going to be difficult because, of course, it would be. It's the last one. But I got full faith in my girl, especially since we've only got 3 episodes left. Did I just make you sad? I know that saying that just made me sad. But we got 3 episodes left. I feel like Emilia's got this in the bag. I am concerned about the group at the mansion. I don't know how they're going to get past the guilty Lao, whatever. But we'll have to wait and see. And with that said, that's going to wrap up today's video. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to boop that up snoot, share if you care, leave a comment down below, and of course, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, set notifications to all, let all of AnyTube know that you're here. And of course, before we go, as always, I want to give a big thank you to the good folks in the T Squadron. Look at these beautiful people. Look at all these beautiful names, and hey, if you would like to join these beautiful people, there are 2 ways to do so. The first is by hitting that join button right beside the sub button. That gets you a badge next to your name, some emotes to spam in the comments, and of course, your name scrolling past the screen here. Or you could check out that Patreon link in the description. Either way, it is super appreciated. So once again, a big thank you to the good folks in the T Squadron. And that's pretty much it for me, guys. I just still can't get over the fact that we got 3 episodes left. Like, it took so long to get season 2. And I didn't even have to wait as long as some of you guys, because I caught up later. So the wait for season 3 is going to kill me. But anyway, Bye!